How do you shoot a product commercial and not show the product at all? Hi, I'm Steven. I've shot on hundreds of commercials, lit thousands of setups, and I break down the lighting in cinematography and photography so that you don't have to. So what are we talking about here? Have you ever tried to figure out how something was shot? Well, that's what I'm here for, man. Let's check it out. I am offering a mentorship if you feel you need it, more at the end. And be sure to check out the free guides and popular commercial interview setups. It's linked below, StevenLifeStudy.com. It's institutional knowledge that you won't get at film school. So this is a snow production. If you've been on beach productions, this is very similar. It drags at the time because you have to hump your gear through this draggy material. Anyway, so this is a tire commercial, and right off the bat, I want to show you something. I just caught this. So here's the wide shot, and then you cut to the family. We'll get to the rest of this in a second, but tire commercial. This is the only time you ever see the tires. The rest of the commercial is they're selling the idea, what the tires give to you, and that's how you do it. So what they've done here, what I've noticed, check out these tires. Notice how dark this hole here is. Now the tires themselves are on the outside of that hole, so it's expected that they're going to be brighter. However, it does appear that them tires have been rotoscoped over, I want to say, and I think this is an older commercial, so the rotoscoping is like old school. So if you look right here, you can see how cloudy this is, but then at the very top, not so cloudy. It's there's more contrast in the tire top. I think that they've rotoed over the tires. I'm not entirely sure why. I think to get rid of because they're driving through slush. And so they probably cleaned up the tires in post. I want to say it just looks like it. Anyway, so let's get on to the beauty of selling this product, which is really faces, selling happy, pretty faces, doing happy, fun stuff. And so here, how did they shoot this shot, right? They're going to be on a process rig. So the whole car is going to be on the process trailer. And so the whole car is going to be on this trailer, and it's going to have rails. You know what a process trailer is, but if you don't, simply, it's a thing that's really low. Your car can sit on it, and it allows you to place lights anywhere. And if you want, you can move those lights around for different shots, which is what they did here. So here they have a light, looks to be directly 90 degrees, and it's just shooting straight in. And it's probably, this is an older commercial, so it's probably an HMI. Like I would go for a 2500 for this, and punch it through maybe probably a 4x4 frame of some kind, just a 4x4 frame. And this can be you can do like 250, 216 maybe, 250 or 216. If it's 216, then maybe you want to make this light a little bit brighter. I don't know. It's not that far away, man, and it's overcast. 2500 is good. I think a 2500 is wonderful. And that's it. That's all that they did. So you have the skylight coming around, skylight, and then skylight on this side that hopefully it doesn't look like they've blocked it off. And then again, you have your HMI through a frame hitting everybody's faces. Okay, let's move on to something more interesting than this. There's the wide shot. So they did move the light. So what you got, let's look at the eyes. The eyes tell a lot. It's really easy to decipher what's going on when just looking at the eye. So if we blow the eye up, you have a bright dot right here. And then you have a trail of other stuff. So what is that? So this trail right here is the sky. Specifically, it is the sky that is broken up by trees, and that's normal. There's trees, and that's the trees are going to be breaking up and adding texture to the eyes. So that's adding texture to the eyes. The bright dot here is that HMI through a frame off to the side. That's it. That's all they did. So they moved the light from here and walked it around like 45 degrees. Just like that. Boom. So pretty cool that you can do that. Neato Bambito. There's a wide shot. So this shot right here is, so this tight is connected to this wide shot. They didn't do anything different. You just pick your framing. So you light for your wide shot here. And this is simple. Now, if you wanted, like I said, this is an older show. They're using HMIs and tungsten. I have no idea how old it is, but if that truck is any indication of the year model that this, of the year that this commercial was produced, then it is hella old. What they probably have done, what I would have done, a couple 216 frames times 2 and punch some tungsten through it. And that's going to give you this radiated side rake of the snow. And that's it. That's all you did there. It could be a couple 1Ks. It doesn't really matter. You just get your exposure. Moving on. So this shot is really cool. This shot, I've done this a ton of times. So what you do here, they shot this at night. And of course it's dark. It could be in a studio, but I think they did this. It could be in a studio. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It's dark behind the camera. And of course, it's great for a night shot, right? So what they did here, let's go over the easy stuff and then we'll walk through the rest of it. So they have a frame here. Again, you can go with whatever diffusion you want, 250, 216. That's doing this side push, and that's, kissing all of this crap. It's doing this side. It's that side light. Oh, it's wrapping up here a little bit more. So this is a little bit taller. That's it. So that's that side light for the kiddo. It might even be what's hitting dad as well. It's pretty weak. So, well, how do you feel the other side of the face? Check this out. You have this whole side of the face that should be dark. It should be dark. Why isn't it? Now you can see it's kind of dark up here, but then it gets a lot lighter right there. So what did they do? There's no light over here. This is a job for the fill card. So there's two places you can stick it from what I see. And this is what I would do. First off, you could place it on the outside right here. A big white source on the other side of this door to the right, that way. Or you could do what I would have done and place that white card right here. And so what would happen is it would collect all of this light that's coming over here, and then it would bounce back into the face like that. And that's what will lift up the face to a brighter level. Beautiful. I want to say that's what they did, because you can check out dad. See how much darker dad is on the fill side, and you see how much brighter the kiddo is. If the light were to hit this wall and then return to dad, that same light would have to hit the wall and return to the kiddo, and he would be even darker on this side. So that's why I think that they probably placed a white card right here. That's what I would have done. And finally, for the glass, so there's no reflections. How is that possible? Well, you shoot in a dark studio, make sure there's no lights on behind you, and that's all you have to do. If there happens to be lights on behind you for whatever reason, then you throw up a giant negative over here to the right side. And so the camera's doing this, and it's going to reflect whatever's here on the right. You just throw up a giant negative, and you're great. You are gravy. That's how you handle a shot like that. Boom. Now this shot, this is classic, man. Stuff like this is so easy. It is so easy. Oh my gosh, it's so easy. Because you have these walls here, and they are hiding everything. Everything. And so what you can do here, so first off, let's talk about the kiddo first. The kiddo is getting lit. He's getting hit right there. It's also lighting up that, it's lighting up this, and it's, you know, doing that. He's getting hit by, I want to say, a nice soft source. You can see right here, this shadow is very feathered. So even walking up there, I think it's a soft source. Even right here, this shadow is feathered. So I would have done what's happening is it's also coming from this direction. So if this was the 90 degree, let's make the 90, and let's draw that 90 line, just like that. The light source is coming from the inside of here, likely, you know, either a bounce or no, that's not a bounce. It's a frame of some kind with the light shooting through it, like that, and it's just doing this stuff. Beautiful. That's beautiful. That's the easy part. It's all easy, but that's like the go-to, right? And then you flag it off of this wall here so it doesn't blow that up. And I mean, it seems like something is lighting it up. It doesn't matter. You treat it however you want. But that's that, right? So that's hitting the kid right there. Secondly, his back is also lit. They have something over here. Well, that's huge. If you want to do 4x4s, then they have something over here, shooting, doing this, like that. And that's what's going to lift up his back. Lastly, they have something coming out of here. I think they did the same thing here. What I would not do is this, though. This is what I would not do. Instead, because here's what's going on. It's so bright, it's lifting up all of this. And it's just making that hella bright. Oh, by the way, the source is up here. That's why this is hella bright. I don't like that. I think it draws the eye too much. What I would have done instead is take a light, you know, dude, come on, draw a straight line. Is take a light, make it tungsten, maybe like a 650, or maybe even a 3. No, I'd go for a 650 and then have a scrim on standby to knock it down anymore. So that 650. And then you bounce that into a wall, but you tighten it. So make it a tight thing. Make it a tight beam, bounce into a wall. It's going to create a hot spot, and then it's going to return back. And that effectively would serve as like a lamp, but it's a lamp that you can control. You can either dim it or scrim it. Actually, dimming would be better because that'd make it even warmer. And it would make the color contrast different here than it is over here. Anyway, so that's that. Beautiful, easy. And then this is just a punch-in of the same thing. Ooh, but they brought that light in. Did they? Maybe. Doesn't matter. Exterior stuff. So snow is so easy to... It's easy to expose in. It's not easy to shoot in. It's... snow and sand are like... It sucks. Walking with all this gear and stuff. The cool thing about snow, though, is typically the sky is overcast. And so everything is very, very compressed as far as contrast. And so you don't have a lot of, you're never clipping your highlights like you would think you would. In fact, right here, they are at 80 IRE. You know, that's like their peak. 85 is the highest they go. And then look at the shadows. This is what I mean. It's taking your contrast and it's compressing it. So it's decontrasting everything because you have a white surface up top, then you have a white surface at the bottom, and typically the trees are covered in a lot of white. They do provide a little bit of negative, but mostly you're just in a dome of white. And so that ends up allowing the face to be just so evenly exposed. You can shape it, and an easy way to shape it is to simply have like a negative. Bring a couple floppies with you, and wherever you're gonna go, and then that'll bring down this side of the face, and it will look beautiful. Of course, you'll need people to pump that stuff through the snow. Ugh, I'm in Florida. We do beach shoots all the time. I hate them. I absolutely hate them. I try not to do beach jobs if at all possible. If at all. So this looks like it was shot from a ladder with a hi-hat strapped to it. This is supposed to be in the day. I think it was still shot at night at the same time, because as the same time as the previous night shot in the same spot. Because if you're shooting stuff at night, you're not going to just shoot that one scene, especially if you have another shot in the same spot. So you have to make it look like daylight. It's your job, man. It's not always easy time. And so, well, hell, you can even trace the shadow here. So there's a light from this direction. It's coming from over here. There's a light doing this. I wouldn't have done that. I would have come from the sky, because that's where skylight comes in. So I would have done something like, and I have done this before, where you have just a giant sky bounce. And if you want to, and I would probably prefer to, having a side bounce as well. So, and then you just have a bunch of light coming down. It'll look just like skylight. And then they have something on the inside lighting him up in some capacity. You see it bouncing right there. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so that's how you do the exterior stuff. You just have a giant, like 4x8 or, well, that's a card. I mean, you can have I would prefer it for a shot like this. Do they go wider? Oh, that's why they came from the side. You can even see it right here. See that right there? Compare this to this. What's the difference? This is bright and this is dark. There is a bounce right there. So the bounce that's lighting this whole scene. What are you freaking doing? So the bounce that's lighting this whole scene is reflected right there. So that means it's at that height. So they have a stand right there and they're bouncing into it or whatever, diffusing, but it's coming from that height. This is the reason why they came from the side instead of the top, because this shot is much wider than probably they could afford with their gear, or the time, because it takes time to set up a 12 by frame. In fact, I don't even think you can't do it with sticks. You'd have to do it sticks. I call it sticks. You'd have to have it armed out. So you'd have to have a stand right here, and you have to have another stand over here. And so they're connected with a pipe so that you can get the legs out of the way. And that's just a lot of work to do that when you could simply throw it in from the side. If it was a tight shot, the 12 by overhead would be a lot more feasible. But with this wider shot, it's more than they wanted to do. This is cool. Okay, so you would think that this is coming from, so let's look at the light. And then we'll talk about what they did. So you can see, you got a little Rembrandt try. Anyway, so she's lit. All of this part is lit. And Kiddo is lit. And then this is getting lit by the same source. This is getting lit by the same source. And it looks like this is getting lit by the same source. Looks to be. But what's happening is it's not this guy, because this guy is not bright enough to throw on anything. It's just there to look pretty. Just like lamps. Well, this is a lamp. It's a hanging lamp. And so, and the art director thought it would be cool to get a lamp that blocked the light that would normally be thrown down. I like that for two reasons. One, I think it looks badass, and why not do something different? Two, it provides, it prevents that bright light from shooting down and making this section just a hell of a lot hotter. So effectively, this is just a glowing paper box. That's all it is. So how do you like the scene? Well, you can see up here there is a sliver, let's jump into the kind of wider spot here. I got the hiccups today for some reason. There is a sliver right here, and I believe, I want to say that is the edge of a skirt. And then there is a light up here that's providing illumination. That skirt is skirting as much as it can. And that skirt is coming right down, and that's what's doing all of this work. That's what's doing this. That's what's hitting mom. That's what's hitting the table. And you notice there seems to be a dark patch right here. That's because the light can't reach it because of this silly lantern thing is blocking. And you know, they also have something over here that's doing a thing, and that's what's hitting the wall right there. And it's what would hit anybody walking through that door. So, pretty cool. That's it. It's a really easy setup. How you put the stuff up there is ask your gaffer. At this point, you have like light mats. Back in the day here, they had bounces or Kino flows, and that was kind of it. LED didn't exist at the time. Oh yeah, look, those folks coming through. Yeah. And then Kiddo. Oh wow. Oop. Interesting. Kiddo's got two lights on him. All right. So the first light is coming from over here. So this is a tough situation. Let's look at the light now. I'll explain why it's tough. So they have like something over here. It might be like a 300 watt tungsten shooting this way. Oh, look, it's lighting up this edge here. Speed, that's it. And it's what's hitting the kiddo in the face. And it's what's casting this shadow. Oh, is it very sharp? I mean, you can throw diffusion on the light to soften it a little bit, but softness, remember, is size. So diffusion will just keep it from being that tiny little bulb to lighting up this like square on the barn doors. But I think that it's a fixture. It's not a frame. So anyway, so they have that, and then they also have something up here shooting down. It's like a Kino flow or something, and that's what's casting. You're going to see you're going to see his shadow down here as well. And so they have these two lights, and of course they have the lamp in the background, which is always nice. I love lamps. It's a little crooked, but that's okay. There's a freaking box holding up the. Whoa. Yes, I have done jank like that before, or I've been a part of jank like that before. So what makes this tough? Well, you have your character. Let's change colors. So you have your character in a position where they are facing a blank wall. That wall has no windows. That wall has no lamps. It has these little bitty dinky lights, but those dinky lights aren't going to provide enough illumination. They're not. And so how do you do that? Well, you need to place lights somewhere. And the reason why this sucks is because the lights that you place in this situation, what this cinematographer did, they are unnatural sources, meaning that there's no reason for it to come from there. And it doesn't feel like it's, what's the word? Oh, motivated. And it doesn't feel like it's motivated because there's nothing to motivate the light. These two lights, especially the hard one, but you have to hit the face. You have to show the face. And so what do? And so this is a tough position to be put in, where you're put into a corner, and there's no natural sources to hit the person's face. His face should be hella dark, because the only thing that you can do realistically, practically, in real life would be have something from the back shooting this way, and of course you're lighting up the back, and it's no good. And so this is one of the things that you have to be creative and try to figure out. What I would have done is, It sucks. I would have pulled him off maybe a little bit more, so he's not landing right here, but he's landing more in the foreground, say like right here, and that would allow a side source from over here to hit him. That's probably what I would have done, and I would have pretended like there was a Christmas tree or something over there, and then you know, keep some type of backlight so that he then has an edge here, and then the front of his face is more lit. And you don't have to worry about that top light anymore because you have this huge, much more larger, natural soft light coming from a tree or something. So that's what I would have done. Yeah. But they executed it wonderfully. I mean, look at his face. He's very well exposed. Beautiful. And then here's just a tight shot. Oh, they added something extra. So this is something that I suggest and that I do most of the time. But I try to always do this, which is have an extra floor light on standby. After you've set up everything, have something on standby. It could be a bounce card with a light. It could be a light with a softbox on it. Something on standby so that whenever you get, you do like punch-ins, you have something that can hit your person and make them look a little bit better. So what's happening right now is she's got that top light coming down, right? And so that's going to hit like, that's what's hitting up here. And it's what's hitting her shoulders and like the top of her nose and maybe like the forehead, but that's it. By having a floor light, you can bring it in and then you can place it just out of frame. And then that's going to wrap the face, and they did that perfectly here. You can see it's what's lighting up all of this stuff. You can even trace it right over there, and that's what's lighting up the side of her face. Beautiful. Dad lit the same way. Coming outside. Okay, so the exterior stuff. I'm unsure of how they expose for that. I think this is just a grab and go shot. Yeah, this is a grab and go shot. That's a skylight, I think. Yes. And then this right here is a huge HMI. There's going to be whatever big light they have, they're going to utilize in other shots as well. But they have something here, whatever it is. If it's at 2500, then sure, whatever. And boom, 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 boom. That's what's going to do all of this. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can put it on, because it's a heavy light. All of the HMIs are heavy lights. All the big ones. You don't want to put it on a Mambo because that's like muscle strength having to crank it up, and then it's just a lot of weight. Another way to do it is a crank stand, which they have these rollers. And it's got a giant trunk there, and and it cranks up the light that way. And some of them can get pretty tall, like 16 feet or something like that. Don't quote me on that, okay? Some of them are hand crank. Do not use a crankavator. Those things are dangerous. I'm serious. They they're unsafe. That's why they don't make them anymore. They better not make them anymore. I don't think they do. I think they were discontinued. Anyway, the other way, the more expensive way, would be to use a scissor lift. And this is cool so long as you have control of the ground. A scissor lift is great. It can get you even higher. It's very easy, but you need to have control of the ground. So you just don't want to drive it out there. You want to have a platform for the scissor lift to be on. And, you know, the gaffer might even suggest anchoring it in some capacity to keep it from tipping. Or the other option would be the classic condor, you know, the freaking arm that comes out. There you go. And then you have your light up there. This is the most expensive. So this is come on, man. So this is like, if this is most expensive, then this is less expensive, and then this is less expensive, And then this is just something that you don't do because you don't want to. Anyway, so that's how you do that. But they can get you varying heights. So the stand can only get you so much. The crank can get you a little higher. This guy can get you a little higher, then the condor can get you as tall as you want. That's a long-winded way of explaining all that. And so you can kind of tell from, I would say you might be able to tell their budget by, no, you wouldn't be able to tell their budget by the height of this, because I don't care. I don't care. I don't mind it being low like it is right now and just raking over everything. It doesn't have to be up tall. It doesn't have to. This is fine. Same. So this right here, it's again, same thing. It's backlit, backlight, and that's what's casting all of this. And it's what's, lighting up the dust on the window. And then they have something off to the side that's hitting their face. So that would be like, I would do, it's going to be something soft. No, it's not. This is a hard light. You can tell because there's that sharp shadow. Woo, sharp shadow. Very small gradient fall off. It is straight up just sharp. So they have some type of hard HMI. They're both HMIs. Straight to the face. Ordinarily, I would say never go straight to the face with a hard light fixture like that, unless it's supposed to be the sun. But whatever. They did that. They did it. And this shot right here is the only one that I'm not entirely sure about. It could either be the same location house or it could be a miniature. And there's two reasons why I think it could be a miniature. One, because to do this with the house, a real life house, it's a lot of work. You need to get a rigger to climb up here and place these and place these lights. Like a rigger, they have to. Well, I guess you could do it with like if you had your Condor machine, you could whatever out there, and you could do that. But if not, then you need like a rigger, somebody to climb up there with a ladder, hook onto something, and then just do that. I honestly don't know exactly how they would do it. That's not my expertise, but somebody has to do all of this. They have to light all of this up. Okay, so that's going to take a lot of time. And then you have to do all of this. These look like individual bulbs. Okay, so that's like thousands of those. And then, so that's the first thing. Two is this light is hella big. You have a main beam right there, and then it kind of tapers off. So this is your main beam. So you have something there, and it's quite big. Now it could be that it's an array of lights. But here's the thing. Like, you can do that. It's possible. I think that this stove stuff is completely fake. Added in post. But here's the other thing. How is that light supposed to reach all the way over here? Oh my gosh. It's expected to reach all the way over there. So I think that the sheer size of the light hitting the house is so big that it's more that plus the rigging. It's just more cost effective to have somebody build a model of the house, and then it's easy to light. You can do it with string lights, right? So I mean, look at this house as well. So let's look at this side and then this side of the house. This dips into straight up black. This does not. This is lit up. It's got fill light. Let's check it out. Let's back up. Even before those lights are on, it still has fill light. Now, it might also be that there's just something over here that's hitting over there. It's entirely possible. You can see that this is darker. It's entirely possible. I just think it's a miniature. I would push for a miniature. Also, how did they get the truck up that high? I don't know. if they did this practically for realsies, oh my gosh, that's got to be so expensive. So, and then, you know, tire company. So as you can see, it's a pretty simple shoot, feasible, very easy to do, especially with the modern gear that we have, except for that last setup. There's always more to learn, and I've made an easy introduction into commercial cinematography with the popular interview styles. It's available free at StephenLightStudy.com. It's linked below, along with one of my favorite resources, Create Against 10 Rules for Students and Teachers. And hey, if this still isn't enough, I'm also offering critiques of your work up to 2 scenes a piece. Just check the schedule for live recordings. Availability is limited, but there is a second evergreen option if you want to submit it. I would be happy to help critique your work. Link any videos in the comments that you'd like me to cover. Be sure to check out StephenLightStudy.com. Keep shooting.